Be a leader filled with might, cause we're awakened.
And now a word from our Awakened Radio sponsors. Do you have health and medical problems the regular medical system cannot seem to figure out how to fix? If the answer is yes, then check out rifeenergymedicine.com. That is Rife, spelled R-I-F-E, rifeenergymedicine.com, for a new way to approach many of your health problems. rifeenergymedicine.com.
Welcome to Simply Come.
Check out Thrival with DonnaDevane.com. Find out all about the author, radio show host, life teacher, and coach, Donna Devane, at thrivalwithdonnadevane.com. Be sure and check out her new Kindle books at amazon.com. Awakened Radio is also brought to you by the Awakened Store right here at awakenedradio.net/Awakened Store, where you can find handcrafted jewelry, Native American dream catchers, smudge kits, medicine bags, hair feathers, books, audio guided meditations, and a whole lot more. Check us out at awakenedradio.net/Awakened Store.
Welcome to Simply Conversations. I'm your host, Rob Ragazine. The show airs every Sunday at 9 p.m. East, 8 Central. Each week we have a new conversation exploring the life of someone who's listening to the wisdom within their hearts. Join us as we open the door for these uplifting and courageous people. Their work has helped to transform their lives, and it ultimately helps to support, heal, and grow their communities. Listen to our discussion and be inspired. Feel free to take part in our chat room or on the phone. Ask questions and chat with our guests. This show is brought to you by simplyconversations.com. Hello, everyone. I'm Rob Ragazine, your host, author, and explorer. It's November 17th, 2013. At 9 p.m. Eastern. Tonight, our guest will be Dr. Robyn Benson, and she is a graduate from the University of Virginia and a doctor of oriental medicine. She's been practicing medicine for over 20 years, and she's an active world traveler, parent, and author speaker. She says, be your own best self-care advocate and take responsibility for your own health. Welcome tonight, Robyn. How are you?
Thank you, Rob. It's wonderful to be here all the way from Santa Fe, New Mexico.
And I want to give you a special thanks for coming on short notice, so thank you.
Oh, this is great. I was looking forward to being with you here tonight, and I'm excited to be here with your audience.
Well, thank you very much. So let's talk about taking charge of our health. And let's start with food. When we go into the grocery store, what should we focus on?
Definitely shopping the perimeters of the store. So food that's alive. I'm really big on food has energy, and food that is alive and is positively charged, that when it goes into your body doesn't have to take a lot of energy just to digest it and to use it. So certainly, fruits and vegetables are really important. And again, just staying away from anything that's packaged, which is in most of the middle aisles. I think if you do that, you're making one of the best choices ever in terms of having not only optimal, but radiant and sustainable health.
And at home, should we have any special equipment, Robyn?
Equipment for cooking?
Sure.
Well,
yes.
I do think it's nice to avoid using microwaves and to have your food cooked lightly. Do you want the good enzymes that are innate to food? And when we overcook them, we destroy nature, so to speak. certainly, good pots and pans that don't have all those coatings that are pretty toxic. There's a lot of toxicity in the cooking profession. So, again, staying close to nature as possible and having whole raw foods. And if you're going to cook them, lightly, not too much. Especially when it comes to grilling your food, too, like outdoor grilling, not to overcook your food because that produces a lot of oxidative stress on your body.
Robyn, do you recommend basically trying to eat a more raw food diet than cooking?
I do. I'm definitely not a raw food vegan. I do consume meat, but I do feel that if 70 to 80% of our diet was more plant-based, we could all feel like that's the best type of health insurance, would be making that choice. Because also what's so great about raw and, when I think about fruits and vegetables, it's got a lot of water, high water content food that basically is the geometry of nature. And so it's a big part of my message as I travel and I write and I speak is this whole getting back to nature theme, especially because there is a huge, serious healthcare crisis among us. And pretty much we're all vulnerable to it. So it's those of us that do, like as you opened up with a statement that I make, is be your own best healthcare advocate. I mean, you cannot really delegate that to anyone. There's so many great mentors out there. It's a matter, though, of the choices that you're making once you have the great information and making that choice on a regular basis.
Okay. Now, what do you say to people, Robyn, who have to go to work or school or something like that and really don't know what to do for preparing their meals?
Okay, I actually fit into that category. I work a tremendous amount. I do have two 10-year-old and a 14-year-old. So I don't even like to cook whatsoever. So having essentials like having an apple a day I think is really great, or another fruit, a pear, or something that's low sugar for fruit every day. So those are easy to carry. You can buy organic carrots that are already cut up, and you just make it very easy for yourself. You can also buy, cooked organic chicken at the health food store. But people who don't have that ability, I'd like the idea of, if they're preparing dinner, prepare something for the next day too that's really easy. And again, that's easy to digest and absorb into your body and doesn't, require 2 or 3 hours of preparation. And it's true. It does take time to eat healthfully. It does. But you can find ways to make very healthy meals in 10 minutes or less, and I'm kind of the queen of that at our home. I will literally grill like 3 or 4 ounces of chicken. I will steam vegetables, steam some broccoli, and leave it at that. It's that simple. And if somebody needs a grain, in addition or something more crunchy, quinoa is a really good choice. We don't really have much in terms of gluten products in our home, and pretty much recommend that many people avoid their consumption of gluten because I think it just creates havoc in our digestive system.
Now, Robyn, I've been seeing gluten-free aisles pop up in all the grocery stores. What do you think about them? Well,
you have to proceed with caution because a lot of it is just, it maybe doesn't have gluten, but it's just loaded with sugar. So, and that is, so people are just fooling themselves to think that they're having a gluten-free diet when they're just bombarding their systems with sugar. And what people have to know is this most all-white sugar that's on the market is genetically modified. Almost all of it is. So that has a lot of its own issues in terms of how it's compromising your genetics and your ability to absorb foods.
So stay away from the processed foods.
Yeah, and, it's just a lot of these gluten-free foods that are full of sugar and other processed ingredients are just adding to obesity and diabetes as we are seeing a massive increase in these last few years.
Robyn, what do you think about juicing then?
You know what? I think juicing has its place. In fact, I've interviewed Judy Colbum, who has written, like 25 books on juicing. She's fabulous, and in fact, we had I started a big-time revolution called the Self-Care Revolution this year, and we had a live event, and she was here. And, I've learned a lot from her. I'm always learning. Even 21 years in the business, I'm still learning. So there are definitely benefits of juicing in terms of just getting the best of the juice in your body, and it gets into your bloodstream very fast. I would really caution people to not have too much juice that's just full of sugar, like let's say if people just have carrot juice, it's just way too much sugar, and that can cause issues as well. I have to say that I'm more into juicing and making smoothies that have the pulp, that have the fiber. That's just me. I've never when I see people, my friends, and I go to their houses and they serve me juice, it's fantastic, but I'm like, what is all this roughage? I mean, it's like we're wasting it. It's becoming compost, which is great, going back into the ecosystem. So it has its place, but I do think that we need the fiber that's found in lots of these vegetables and fruits.
Robyn, in addition to diet and paying attention to the sugar that we ingest, what about exercise or meditation? What do you think of those things?
Love it. I always say there's 5 pathways to living well and living radiantly in this time of great change. And exercise is just something that is not negotiable, in my opinion. We are designed to move. When we think about ourselves, when we think about how we've been created, we're just like nature. And there's something that most people have no understanding of, is that there's a magnetic field, a healthy magnetic field around the earth. And that without that magnetic field, there is no life. And in order to get that, I call it the holy spark. It was really Nikola Tesla who really talked about how incredibly essential that was to all of human beings. And when we are devoid of that, and we're living right now 95-96% of our entire lives indoors, we're not getting that essential energetics that we need. And the other thing, it's not just being outdoors, but we need to move. We need that pulsating movement to allow our cells, to allow our muscles, to allow our organs to work. And it's probably the best thing that we can do as an antidote to stress. It's really important for our metabolism. So metabolism has to do with how we produce energy, but certainly how we get nutrients and water into the cells and how we detox. We need to have both of those systems working adequately at all times, and it's not possible to do that well without movement. And I'm really, I call myself a recovering marathon runner. I pretty much ran pretty high end from the time I was 15 until, just 2 years ago, until I was 46. And I'm really into not over-exercising like I did for so long, and that it's, even 20 minutes 3 or 4 times a week is great, but I do believe that we need a part of this burst. So if you're a walker, if someone out there is you walk on a regular basis, if you're just walking your dog at a calm pace, that's not good enough. We really need to spark our aerobic system, so we need to move faster, so we need to accelerate our heart rate on a regular basis as well. So exercise is key. You asked about meditation. I think especially in today's world where we are living, I call it high five with our hair on fire. They're wild times where most people, even our children, are stressed out. It's really, stress is what brings us to disease. It's why we go to the doctor's office. It's why we get run down. And it's because our nervous system has an on button and it has an off button. And our on button is going so long, and we're literally not getting the rest that we need, and we're up with, going full force. And so meditation, I feel, is one of the best practices that can help balance this, the action, the go side. And we need to integrate that with what I call the feminine, and since I'm a doctor of oriental medicine, it's the yin part of our body. So meditation is a wonderful way to balance our nervous system from that crazy go, go, go all the time. And it just, the benefits are endless. I mean, everything from better digestion to better sleep, better focus, higher performance. All of that happens through a meditation practice. And I have to say, as I share this and my, to advocate a meditation practice, I must say that there is the idea of movement meditation. And since I'm a pretty active person, I do sit and meditate, but I prefer a more of a walking movement meditation. And for anyone listening who'd really like to engage in a meditation practice, I highly recommend the book by John Kabat-Zinn called Full Catastrophe Living, where he illuminates this crisis that we're living in terms of how much stress we're living in, within, and without on a day-to-day basis. And he just has a great program that he lays out for you to really understand how you can bring in the antidote to that, which is the movement meditation, which is the walking meditation, which is the sitting meditation, whatever works for you. To know, if anyone out there is saying, I hate to meditate, know that there's other ways that you can experience the same results without having to sit in one lotus position. Yes.
Somewhere in there you mentioned detoxing, and I was wondering if you had any juices that you recommend, or just drinking perhaps warm lemon in the morning when you get up.
Oh, I love that idea. Lemon, freshly squeezed, it has to be organic. Absolutely, not even conventionally grown. So, and just so you all know that the stickers that are on fruit, if it's a 4, it's conventionally grown. If it's a 9, it's organic. If it's an 8, I always say run. That means if it has an 8, it's the first number out of 5, that means it's genetically modified. You do not want to put that in your body. So putting lemon in water, warm water, or certainly not with ice, because especially in Chinese medicine, our bodies run at 98.2, 98.6. So it's pretty insulting to put really cold beverages in our body. So in the morning, 2 cups of warm water with freshly squeezed lemon is so great for your liver. It also, at night while we're sleeping, a lot of times a lot of acids build up. And one of the best ways to kind of detox the acids of the day and the night is through lemon water. And it's alkalinizing when it's in water. So that's very, very good. There are many ways to detox. And you have to really look at in Chinese medicine, the liver, the kidneys, the lungs are all really important. So you're detoxifying just by even exercising. There's certainly certain foods that really help to, not only are they nutritious, but they help to detoxify the negative things that are in the body. So let's say, in any given time when we get nutrients in, there's always this detox process that's getting rid of, in today's world, we're just breathing in air at any given time can be, we're exposed to like 30 or 40,000 different toxins. If you're driving in a car, we use certain cleaning products at home, the air that we breathe from our heating sources, all of it has chemicals and dust. It has a lot of different things in it. We've got heavy metals, too much mercury, cadmium, lead. So, having a high fiber diet is really helpful for that. Again, a plant-rich diet is going to be your best measure, and certainly proper hydration. Many people do not get enough water. Definitely stay away from bottled water because it has so many problems. You just definitely don't know how long it's been in the water. The BPA free, I wouldn't count on that 100% either. It's acting like an estrogen in the body, and so there's a lot of estrogen dominance. So, detox is a way of life. There's people I know that they do a detox every season, and I think that's fine. But it's more important to think of having a diet that is supporting your detoxification systems.
Robyn, you mentioned the drinking the water, and is there a need to drink the 8 glasses a day that they speak of?
If you are drinking your water, drinking and consuming your water through food, I always tell people, hey, people who say, I don't like to drink water, I said, well, make sure you get a high water content diet. There's no way to do that without having, consuming fruits and vegetables. And again, you don't want to overdo high sugar fruits either. So I do think that if you're not doing that, 8 glasses a day is good and advisable. But I also want to say that we really need to get the proper mineralization in our water. So people there's all kinds of water machines out there, and there's things that are taking out the minerals, the necessary minerals that we need. It's such a huge, it's truly an $80 billion industry. So people are so confused, like, what do I do? Well, if you're having tap water, make sure you put in a little bit of sea salt in your water. Just even a little bit. That will help you absorb your water. Because many people who do drink 80 to 100 ounces of water does not mean that it's getting in your cells. And I see that a lot in my clinic, where I have this way to measure their hydration. And very often they say, God, I drink a bunch of water, but I can see that they're still dehydrated because they're not getting the water in the cells. So what I advise here, I have a center. We built a center here 9 years ago in Santa Fe, 25 practitioners. We have what's called structured water throughout this whole building, and I have it at my home as well. So it's a device where the water pumps into our building. It goes through this structured device. So it actually creates a geometry of the water that allows it to be what's called wet water. So the water actually gets into the cells much more easily. And I always say it turns cells right away into happy cells. What's a happy cell? A happy cell is one that looks more like a grape than a raisin. So water, if you want to find out about this hydration system that we like, you can go to www.jointheselfcarerevolution.com, and that's where you can get a lot of free material from our continual weekly Self-Care Revolution series, healthcare series. And if you go into the shop menu, you'll see the structured water unit that we advocate and we've been using for the last 5 years. It's fantastic.
And can we have that link again so people
Sure.
can find
It's
you?
www.jointheselfcarerevolution.com, and then you go into the shop section, and there's only 4 or 5 things that we really advocate there, one being this device. The other thing that you'll see there is something called the Berry Breeze, and I wonder, Rob, have you heard of it?
I'm not sure. What was that?
It's called the Berry Breeze. It's a device that you put, you put it in your refrigerator, and it elongates or it increases the shelf life of your fruit and vegetables about another 10 days to 2 weeks. Basically what it's doing is it's ozonating, it's oxygenating the air in your refrigerator.
I think I've seen something like that, yes.
Yeah, they're like $50, and I love it. It's basically your 4D batteries and will last, for 3 months, and then you have to replace it. So that's something else that we share here.
Okay. Now, what about coffee or tea? Do those detract from your water drinking that you have to do throughout the day? I've heard it both ways, that it doesn't matter, that it does.
I love Swiss Water Processed Organic Decaf. That's what I start with. And I also have a mushroom Ganoderma coffee that I drink. So I think it depends on what type that you're drinking. And again, you want to go organic because there's a lot of pesticides used in the production of coffee worldwide. I think what happens is that people tend to have too much of it, and it is a diuretic, and it is acidic. And so there's this continual issue where a lot of people have bone loss, osteoarthritis, and when you consistently have an acidic environment, it steals from the bones, literally, that the body wants balance. It will steal, minerals from the bones. So coffee also is a stimulant. So in terms of the nervous system, if people are already stressed out and you add more coffee, it does some wear and tear on your adrenal system. So I think in moderation, it's fine. There's a lot of great things about coffee that are okay. It's just if you can limit it to 1 cup a day. And I say that too about like red wine. Maybe not even, I don't even agree really that anyone needs to consume one on a day-to-day basis, but I do think it definitely has some good properties, some beneficial properties.
But if you're focusing on a vegetable-based diet, you can be getting a lot of water right there.
Exactly. I mean, truly, when people start consuming most of their diet as just a plant-based, so many health issues are reversed. I mean, from achy joints to brain fog, chronic digestive problems. I mean, people are running dehydrated all the time. It's I would say it's epidemic proportions. And I see it with my patients on a regular basis.
Robyn, we have about a few minutes till break. Can you, again, share ways that people can reach you?
Sure. My clinic, if anyone happens to live in this area or you're visiting from the East Coast, www.santafesoul, that's S-O-U-L, santafesoul.com. And again, in addition to the services that I provide, we have about 24 other practitioners that offer all kinds of really cool cutting-edge practices. We have technologies here. And then the revolution, which we'd love for you all to join for free. I mean, to me, it's like one of the most important decisions of your life to join your own and invest in your own self-care revolution on a day-to-day basis. And that website is www.jointheselfcarerevolution.com.
And what will that help with people?
Excuse me?
What is that based on again?
Okay, Join the Self-Care Revolution is it's a 12-month series. Already, we're in our 12th month. We have interviewed over 110 leading experts in the health and fitness world. We're talking like people who are so aligned with this message of self-care. Because again, with this disease model that we're in a big way, we know that the only solution is self-care. Self-care is the true health care. And we're inviting all of you to join this revolution, hear from the experts, but also you get to hear from the self-care coaches at Santa Fe Soul Health and Healing Center. We have live streams each month. We engage our audience via a journal. And this month is amazing. It's the power of gratitude. And we're going to be hearing on Tuesday from Sean Croxton, who's got the largest worldwide radio station on health, called Underground Wellness. We're interviewing him. And we're also interviewing Mira and Jason Colton, who wrote Naked Calories, Naked Truth. And they are going to be speaking about truly almost all health issues have to do with micronutrient deficiency. So join us live. You can, join now and you can hear those interviews. And again, these are three of the leading experts in the country, in the world, with really powerful messages for all of you.
And if people want to get in touch with you or find out how to set up an appointment with you, how would they go and do that?
You could call our center. My direct line is 505-986-1089. And to reach our center is 505-474-8555. And you can also go to my own personal website, which is robynbenson.com. That's ROBYNBENSON.com. You can see all my services, or just look at the Santa Fe Soul website, too.
And can they find you on Facebook or Twitter?
Yes, definitely. Anyone who's, you can go to this selfcarerevolution.com. Definitely follow us, The Revolution. I mean, gosh, we've got 8,000 kind of people who are following us, likes on Facebook. We'd love for you to join and see what we're doing on a regular basis there. And then I have a personal Facebook page as well, and I also have a business page, which is Robyn Benson, DOM. So that would be the best place to reach me, Robyn Benson, DOM.
Okay. Well, thanks for listening to us. We are at our halfway point, and when we come back from our break, you'll be able to hear and ask questions of Robyn. So please do stay tuned and come back and listen to us and ask your health-related questions when we come back from break. Thanks for chatting with us, Robyn.
Thank you.
Awaken Radio Network is brought to you by our sponsors. Visit and let them know you heard about them here on the Awakened Radio Network. Do you have health and medical problems the regular medical system cannot seem to figure out how to fix? If the answer is yes, then check out rifeenergymedicine.com. That is Rife spelled R-I-F-E. rifeenergymedicine.com for a new way to approach many of your health problems. rifeenergymedicine.com. Are you looking for a fun and easy and productive way to promote and advertise your personally owned business? If so, the Awakened Radio Network just might have the solution for you. Visit awakenedradio.net, look up under our products and services tabs, or add Awakened Radio to your Skype contact and send Donna Devane, the station owner, a message. Or you can add DonnaDevane@gmail.com to your email contacts and send Donna an email letting her know that you would like to set a time to go over how to advertise your business in a way that makes getting sales easy without the struggle and a whole lot of fun. Do you have a message, something that just burns within you that you couldn't stop talking about even if someone offered to pay you to? Well, you just might be the type of host that we're looking for here on the Awakened Radio Network. Add Awakened Radio to your Skype contacts or send Donna Devane, the station owner, a message, DonnaDevane@gmail.com. And let's set up a time to talk and see if you and Awakened Radio Network are on the same consciousness wavelength. We might can work together and provide a win-win where your message goes out on our airwaves, reaching our global listeners, bringing fun, self-growth, and a whole lot of excitement to both your life and the Awakened Radio family.
Hello, this is Rob Ragazine. Please tune to my show, Simply Conversations. It airs every Sunday night at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, 7 Mountain, 6 Pacific. Each week, I invite a new guest to talk about his or her personal life changes and experiences. Please listen and invite your friends. You may even be inspired to take new steps in your life. Hello, we're back, and if you have a question for Dr. Robyn Benson, you can add Awakened Radio to Skype, or you can call 334-649-7204, or you can join us here in the chat room at awakenedradio.net. And Robyn, we already have a question, and it's about the Eat Right for Your Type, and what do you think of that approach?
It's a great question. I read that book years ago. I am an A positive, which means I should be mostly a plant-based, have mostly a plant-based diet. I'm also somebody who's very athletic, and it's just when I go mostly, I tried being a vegan or a vegetarian for 3 weeks one time, and I thought, this is not right for me. This is so not right for me. So, and I know some of the science, I know a lot of the science behind it. I know a lot of people who use that successfully. I used it with my patients because I've been, like I said, practiced for so long now. And I've given out the O types, and I've given out the A types and the Bs and all that. So I do think there is some credibility to it. This is what I say. If it works for you and you feel a lot better, go for it. But I'm going to say that I personally, as an A positive, I thrive on having organic grass-fed beef or chicken, whatever. It makes me feel so good. And when I don't have it for, long periods of time, it just doesn't fuel me in the way that I need it. So, let me say also that I have to say that the O blood type, in terms of digestion, I think it's really true that they need more support in terms of hydrochloric acid production. So for a lot of my O's, I make sure that they are getting good digestive support. And also, I know a ton of people who are vegetarian and are O types and have suffered greatly being vegetarian. So in that case, I think that, right, for your blood type, the O's, I think that a lot of them really do need meat. I do. So that's just my personal experience.
It's really being willing to try something and see if it works for you.
Exactly. And again, some people love it. It's really for them. It just was not for me. The A diet personally is okay. I can sustain it, but it's just not optimal, especially I think because of the fact that I exercise the way I do and moderately now. But it's definitely trial and error. So I'd say find out what feels good to you and give it a chance. Though give it a good 21 days or 6 weeks. And sometimes that people just feel miserable on any new change because of the detox factor. You're letting go of a lot of things when you increase a healthy diet. You're letting go of a lot of toxins.
Now, Robyn, what do you think about the level of soy that you should include in your diet?
I think that most of it is genetically modified, and I think most of it should be consumed moderately, if at all. I think edamame is okay. I think some tofu is fine, but in general, like soy and baby formulas, I don't recommend. I feel that there's so much soy in powdered beverages. It's everywhere, and most of it, like I said, is genetically modified. So in some way, it's going to affect your digestion, the way in which your body receives it. It's going to be received as a foreigner, and that is not a good thing.
And I got a question in the chat, and someone asks, are you familiar with Juice Plus?
Yes, I am. And, from what I hear, I used to do that. I go through phases where I try a lot of the network marketing products out there. And from what I hear and from what I see, it seems like if you're going to, just for, again, the question you asked me earlier, Rob, for convenience sake, because many people cannot consume the amount of fruits and vegetables that they need in everyday life. So I do think that that's a good product. I do. I've only seen positive things from it that I know of. I still think nothing's better than getting it from Whole Foods. Right. Number one, but that's second best.
Now, we were talking about detoxing before. Do you recommend things like colonics or sweat lodges or things of that nature?
We have infrared sauna here at the center that I think is fantastic. We have a very high-end item called the Photon Genius, which is the best of light therapy, and it also has infrared properties. So it's really great for people with chronic illness. It really helps to draw out some of the heavy metals, even some that cross the blood-brain barrier. So Bryce technology, it's got a little bit of that. So yes, I think that infrared saunas are really, really fantastic. But again, make sure you hydrate really well, that you're hydrated on a regular basis, because sometimes people can get so blasted by them and use them too often. So I'd say 3 times a week. But I treat a lot of people with chronic disease, so I definitely am a big advocate of saunas. Colonics, I do. We have some great colonic therapists in Santa Fe. We have a little bit of everything good in terms of the therapy world here. I think the colonics done, again, better having a good diet and a good lifestyle. That's number one. But I think going through a type of detox once in a while, it's great. For me personally, I find it very intense. I find it's just, I think it's an intense experience for me to go through. But I think if you're going to go to one of the detox centers in Mexico or in San Diego, there's some great ones around, and that's part of the protocol. I think it's really great to do it. And for some people, I really think it's good to do, once a month for all of your life. But I especially think 50 on up, I would say, is even more important to do it. So as you age, I think colonics become even more important and more essential.
And we have another question in chat, Robyn. It's about the foot detox technologies. What do you think about those? You know what?
I think Good Bath, we have had one for, maybe 12 years here. I don't use it as much. I was really excited when it first came out. I went to a major cancer conference a couple years ago. I mean, they're still out there. I'm not 100% clear on the real science behind it, but we've done, hundreds and hundreds of people, and I see it varies so much from person to person to see that there's some credibility. There's got to be something to it. I travel a lot with my business. I like to do them like after I get off a plane because of all the radiation that you're exposed to. I find them just really calming, and I do know that the water in those varies depending on the part of the country that you live in. I do think they have a purpose, though. Overall, I would say 80. I'm an 8 out of 10 in terms of supporting that technology.
Okay. I guess that's an answer, though.
Yes.
Yes. Now, what do you think of these brain training online sites and ways to keep your brain healthy?
Well, in the 4th month of the Self-Care Revolution, it was all unleashing your brain power. So we talked to Michael Gelb, who wrote a book about brain power. We talked to Jim Quick, who's a memory specialist. I think they have their purpose, and I think that they're efficacious. I just think there's so much out there. I don't even know which one. Honest to God, I wouldn't know which one to say this is great. If Jim Quick, that I really think a lot of, I think he's got a lot of integrity. If he backs somebody who's got a brain technology system, I believe it. I do think that, when we think about the 4 main brain waves that we have, alpha, the beta, alpha, theta, delta, that I love the idea that most of us live a lot of our lives in the beta. That's the overthinking, that's the action. We need that. We need that when we wake up in the morning. But it's great that there are these brain technologies that are helping to access and to increase those parts of our brain that, so we can actually experience the theta and the delta, that we can go into deep theta sleep, deep delta sleep that many of us never even get to. So I find that some of them out there are really fantastic for that. What I love and what I am 100% behind is probably my favorite wellness device of all is something called magnetic resonance stimulation, a.k.a. pulse electromagnetic field technology. You can go to the Self-Care Revolution website and, again, in the shop section, or you go to santafesoul.com and you can see that these are technologies that we use here. And it has, the MRS has this sound and light device that is based on the time of day. So in the mornings, you want beta. If it's like the afternoon time, that's kind of the start of theta. And so this is something that you can listen to, for 8 minutes only to entrain your brain. So you're actually entraining the theta waves or the delta when you do it later at night. So, yes, I have to say I'm a big advocate of it. I just don't know, when I see what's out there every day. My God, they're selling all kinds of stuff. I'm always a little bit curious, what is really doing what it says it does. So I stand by this company that I work with that has this sound and light.
It's kind of something that we won't know until 10 or 20 years later.
Yeah, but true that in this overthinking, overstressed, the sympathetic nervous system, there's a sympathetic and parasympathetic. The sympathetic is the go. And in Chinese medicine, that's the yang part of the body. When we just overproduce, that affects our hormones, it affects our digestion, it affects our memory, it affects our oxygenation, how we're oxygenating our tissue. So the brain is 85% water, and it is going through a lot of challenges as well. And there is a huge increase in brain cancer right now, and they are attributing that to the use of cell phones. So I'm kind of going off the subject a little bit. However, to understand, essentially, I was talking about the spark of the magnetic field of the Earth is low frequencies, like 0.5 to 25 hertz. It's really low energy. It's like this benevolent, yummy, harmonizing energy that feels so good. That's why almost everybody I've ever asked, literally when I've traveled and spoken, various countries even, where do you feel the best? It's always outdoors. So 0.5 to 25 hertz is the average frequency of the earth. And so a cell phone, just by comparison, is about 900 megahertz. So, I obviously use a cell phone too. As much as possible, it's best to text, and it is best to use speakerphone when possible. Yeah. I can't tell you how many people have glioblastoma, which is a very wicked form of brain cancer, and it's very fast growing too. So there's a huge increase in that. So, I have a 12-year-old daughter who, we have this discussion like every week. Mom, I want a phone. We're not going to give her a phone until she's 14. My son didn't get one until he was almost 14. But he pretty much just texts with us. We have rules about it. But these kids, their brains are still developing. So it's very prudent for most people to know that they shouldn't have a phone near their head on a regular basis, nor should any of us for that matter. Almost always it's classic that if someone has a parotid tumor or some other mass in their brain, that it's on the side where the cell phone is being used.
Well, what can they do about that besides, I guess, get rid of the phone?
Okay, get rid of the phone, texting, speakerphone, and there are some, I think a company called BioPro, I don't even know if that's the name, or LifeWave. LifeWave makes patches, and this is another network marketing company. They came out with something recently, which is this little sticker thing that you put on your phone. So I invested $70 in one of those, and I know the inventor, the guy who started that whole company. I know his brilliance, and I know the science behind his product. So that's a way to go. And BioPro, I think there's a Gia, I don't even know what they call it right now, but there are things out there that help to act as an antidote somewhat. I also have to tell you that in this case, I would say to people, if you're hydrated, if you're eating really healthy foods, if your cells are already in a really healthy state on a regular basis, honestly, I don't feel that the cell phones are going to hurt you as much as someone who's dehydrated, who has a lot of oxidative stress, who has a poor diet. Then you add these frequencies that we're not designed for. It's just adding insult to insult. It's like poison upon poison. Whereas you get a little leeway when you're healthier.
What about the earpieces?
Some of those are good, some of those are not. Bluetooth is not good. It's almost like you've got the whole energetics coming right into your ear. There are some other ones that I know you can get online that are better choices.
Now, since we're talking...
We have to get back to using them as an emergency purposes right. Only. I have devices that Gauss meters that you can actually see you can hear how intense these frequencies are, and it's a very staticky ear. It's like you would never want to live in that sound for more than 5 minutes, and yet just because we can't hear it, we don't think that it's detrimental to our ears, to our brains, to our bodies, and it is. Same thing with laptop computers. That's the worst name ever to give a computer, because I think it's contributing to the massive amounts of infertility issues that we're seeing women experience. And I treat a lot of women in my practice, a lot of 30s, 20s, 30s, 40s, that these young people are putting their laptops right on their lap, and it heats up. It really warms up your skin, your tissue, and it just creates aberrant health in your cells. The cells just get very disrupted, and when it happens on a regular basis, you can imagine what's happening to your physiology. And I just go back to Linus Pauling and many other cell theorists. We are as healthy as our 70 trillion cells. Cancer does not happen in a healthy cell.
Now, the question is, Robyn, how can we keep them healthy?
Okay, so everything we've talked about so far, all your great questions tonight, Rob, certainly I think 80% of the formula is a healthy plant-based diet. Diet is essential, and it must be organic. Absolutely essential. And people, when they say they can't afford it, in the end, you can't afford not to, because all the issues and all the times that you're sick and you miss work, whatever, caused by, eating processed foods, in the end you pay a lot more for it, and you're just contributing. Because again, most diseases, most cancers do not happen overnight. It's over a 10-year period, at least a 10-year period. So you're adding to your chances. Okay, so diet, exercise, meditation, reconnecting to the Earth's frequencies is really essential. Those are the main ways.
And what about sleep?
Essential. I mean, I really believe that most of us should get at least, 7, 8, 9 hours of sleep a night. At least.
And how can people accomplish that without resorting to medication?
Well, it's an epidemic issue, too. People need to unplug their Wi-Fi at night. Really important. People need to be conscious about how they're eating and giving yourself 2 or 3 hours before you go to bed. Like, to end your consumption of food. Give yourself some time. I think there's a lot of great herbal teas that I recommend. I've got a lot of great products that I think are really fantastic too for sleep. And also that being plugged in, you're on your cell phone, you're on your computer right before you go to bed, that is keeping you supercharged. It's keeping you in that, I call it the red zone. High five with the hair on fire. I mean, you're just going. You're putting too much energy into your cellular being when your body wants to rest. I mean, we need to digest and rest as much as we need to move and groove, as I say. Yes, rest is essential. But there are so many people who are thinking they're sleeping well, but they're not at all. I mean, they've got their phones plugged in right near their head. They've got their exercise equipment in their room. They have clock radios near their head. I mean, when I put my device near those, it's unbelievable. Again, you can't smell it, hear it, taste it, but it is putting out these frequencies that are so disturbing. And so sleep is something that most everybody needs some support at some point in their lives, especially if you travel a lot. You're in hotels where you've got neighbors who've got HD TVs right next to you, and so I always tell my travelers to unplug everything near your head at night. And food very much affects your nervous system. Too much sugar, we're sugar addicted, which it really impacts our sleep as well.
Now, Robyn, how can people keep better informed? Are there any good books to read about all these subjects we've covered tonight, or your site?
Well, I think it's great that you have this wonderful radio show. I recommend people come to our jointheselfcarerevolution.com. I mean, and people have the opportunity to invest in this whole year series, which is, again, over 110 interviews. We're making it so reasonable. Like, it's like really one of the best financial investments you can make to get this whole series. We're going to have a book for each month, and I really, because we're covering themes, it's not just food. We're covering thoughts and food as medicine. Month 3, we talk about transmuting and releasing trauma. So trauma, not drama. Well, drama too. That how much people who've had, sexual abuse, physical abuse, I can't tell you how many of my patients lived in New York during 9/11, a painful divorce, a death. These are all traumas that radically change the landscape of our health. So that's just another big issue that people need to learn how to release it, how to move it, so it's not causing stagnation, not causing dis-ease in your body. So that's a really critical month. I hope that everybody will take the opportunity to, at least if you make one investment in 1 month, look at that one, release and transmute trauma. And again, everybody has experienced some type of trauma in their lives, and some are suffering from serious PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. And for that, too, I think anything from, diet's really important, meditation, and also tapping, emotional freedom technique. We've had some great speakers, Dawson Church being one of them, he is one of the leading experts on tapping in the world, and just ways in which you can do these tapping techniques with your hands on acupuncture points. That's what I do. In my life, I put needles in people, but there are ways to tap on these acupuncture points that really help to shift the energetics and your body's response to trauma. So after time, you're not triggered in the same way. So even before this radio show today, just for me, I'm literally going from, I've got my revolution going. I've got a lot of work that I've been doing all day today. And, I just took 5 minutes just to deep breathe, to do some tapping, to completely I wanted to be, my desire for tonight was to be 100% present for each and every person that's listening and who will hear this in the future. To completely leave my busy weekend to being present. And so the tapping is really great. I hydrated very well. I have really good food all day long because I want to be at my best to share, what I've been studying for over 25 years. And also, I've had treating over 80,000 patients in my life. I've been there. I've seen it. And this is why I started the self-care revolution, because it was really after 20 years of practice and literally I've traveled to 70 countries without a doubt. People say, Robyn, gosh, you've been there, done it. What's your most important message? And it is hands down, without any exception, practice self-care. Take care of yourself. Don't wait to get a diagnosis. Don't wait to get violently ill. Do know that the choices that you make with your fork, with your thoughts, with your movements, with your time outside, being out in nature really matters.
Well, thank you, Robyn. Thank you for joining us tonight. And unfortunately, our time is over, but it was great having you on, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Rob. This was so fun to connect with you after all these kind of weeks and months that have passed by. And I just love being part of your show and your mission with this show. I think it's fantastic, and thanks for the invitation.
Well, you're welcome, and thanks again for coming on such short notice.
Anytime.
Okay.
And good night to all of you. Happy New Week, and Thanksgiving blessings to every single one of you. Take care of yourself. It's the True Healthcare. Bye.
Bye. You've been listening to Dr. Robyn Benson, and her show links, her page links will be in the forum when the show goes up in the forum. So you'll be able to find her and contact her there. Dr. Robyn Benson. You can also search for her name in Facebook and find her. Now, if you visited our Weekend Radio store recently, you know that we were having markdowns on many of our crystals and gemstones, so it's a great opportunity to pick up some new gemstones that you're looking for, and also healing kits and dream catchers and Camphor and other things, and many of the crystals will be shipped free. You can also, if you've enjoyed this show and other shows here on Awakened Radio, you can be a sponsor and provide us with a 30-second spot, and we'll play it before the show starts, in the middle, and at the end, during each occurrence of the show. And our shows play once a week, so your show ad will play at least 12 times within the month, and you can sponsor our shows in whole or in part. If you're a listener and you've enjoyed our shows and you're so inclined, donations are always greatly appreciated. We're here at no cost to you. We're largely host and listener supported, so please find it in your heart to click the donate button at the top of all the screens here on Awakened Radio. Now, we also have Thrive Magazine, and our next issue will have a December 10th deadline, and articles, art, and poetry are always appreciated. So if you have a holiday-related article, we'd greatly appreciate it, and we'll include your links and your bio back to your site, and we'll share that in the magazine. Thank you for listening to us tonight. Stay tuned next week, same time, for another episode of Simply Conversations, and tune in this Thursday for Your Unfolding Senses, and we'll be talking about gratitude and looking within. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'll see you on Thursday.
Cause we're awakened. You won't catch us sleeping through the fight. And like we're all eyes open, showing our inside and light so bright. We are awakened. Come and join our love, it's so right. If you could feel what we feel now, you'd be a leader filled with might. Cause we're awakened.